In this next section, we'll explain how to prepare the cash flow from operating activities section of the statement of cash flows using the indirect method. As previously stated, the indirect method of preparation is by far the most commonly used in business today. It is perceived to be less complex and more structured than the direct method. Again, we remind you that only the cash flow from operating activities is different using the indirect method. Up to now, we haven't discussed the preparation of cash flow from investing or financing activities, which is the same using either method. The goal of preparing the statement of cash flows remains the same under the indirect method in that we strive to answer the question, how has our cash position changed? Using the indirect method, we start by taking our net income from the income statement. From that figure, we will make adjustments which will reconcile net income to net cash movements provided by operating activities. So let's begin the indirect method by first determining our net income. In this example, XYZ Company is showing a net income of $26,000. From this net income figure, we'll want to extract out any non-cash related transactions or activities which may have impacted net income but did not actually impact cash movement. This will be accomplished by adding back to net income things like depreciation or amortization expense, since these are non-cash transactions that impact net income but not actual cash movement, decreases in current assets other than cash, which would likely impact net income but obviously does not impact cash movement, increases in current liabilities, which are expenses incurred but not yet paid for, and we will subtract items including increases in current assets other than cash, as these do not reflect any physical cash movement, and decreases in current liabilities, which reflect cash disbursements in repayment of outstanding debts. Finally, we'll need to back out any loss or gain on the sale of long-term assets from the cash flows from operating activities section, as this will be included in our cash flow from investing activities section, which will be explained a bit later on in this presentation. Let's begin our adjustments by looking at the income statement and adding back any depreciation or amortization expense listed. We can see that there is $13,000 in depreciation expense, which reflects a non-cash transaction and should be added back to net income if we are only to reflect cash movement. So now let's move on to decreases in current assets other than cash. To obtain this information, we must refer to our balance sheet. As we review our current assets section of the balance sheet, we notice that other than cash, we show a decrease in inventory year over year in the amount of $1,300. Although our net income figure reflects cost of goods sold in total, it would appear as though some of the sales were on inventory from the prior period. We will want to back out those inventory costs associated with the prior period out of our net income number. We accomplish this by adding back the $1,300 to our equation. Next, we look at our current liabilities. An increase in current liabilities suggests that a portion of the expenses reported in net income reflect an extension of credit or money which has not yet been paid. We'll want to add this portion of those expenses back into our net income in order for us to reflect strictly cash movement. In this example, we see there is an increase in current liabilities in the amount of $31,850, which we will add back. Although our income statement reflects an income tax expense of $9,100, we must remember that this doesn't mean we actually disperse cash for these expenses. To validate this, we'll want to return to the comparative balance sheet and determine if we are showing this as an accrued current liability, indicating that this has not yet been paid for. As we look through our current liabilities, we notice that we have an accrual called income taxes payable. This accrual indicates that the $9,100 in income taxes have been booked as an expense but not yet paid. It is also important to note that this accrual is included as part of our total current liabilities, which have already been accounted for in our equation. Next, we'll want to see if there are any increases in current assets other than cash. To accomplish this, we must again turn to our comparative balance sheet. we see that our accounts receivable has increased year over year by $11,050. This implies that at least some of the sales recognized in our net income were made by extending credit to our customers. Since we only want to focus on sales that increased our cash, we'll want to deduct that increase from our net income in order to reflect the appropriate cash movement. Finally, if we had any decreases in current liabilities, we would want to deduct them from net income, since this would imply that cash was dispersed to pay down this outstanding debt. However, as we noted previously, our total current liabilities actually increased and were added to our net income. The last two items we need to discuss under cash flow from operating activities relates to the loss or gain on sale of long-term assets. Although a loss or gain involving the sale of long-term assets will impact cash, this type of activity is not considered to be normal day-to-day business activity, but rather part of investing activities which, as you may recall, deals specifically with investments made by a company that will result in a recognized asset in the balance sheet. Activity related to the disposal of these types of assets also fall into this category. Therefore, activity of this nature, which is reported in our net income number, must be removed from the cash flow from operating activities section. That said, as we look at our income statement, we do see a gain on sale of plant assets. This reflects a cash flow from investing activities, so we will go ahead and deduct it from our net income figure. Had this activity actually reflected a loss on sale of long-term assets, we would have added it to our equation. As we sum up all of the items listed under cash flow from operating activities, it equals $54,600. Before we continue the preparation of the statement of cash flows and delve into the cash flows from investing and financing activities, let's do a quick exercise regarding what you've just learned.